So guys, Maru is the next 5-star character coming out after Hell Hester in just 3 days. So today I'm here with my complete prep guide for everything you'll need to do in order to be as prepared as humanly possible for Maru. Today we're going to be going over just materials you can be farming out right now, as well as weapons, and then my recommendation for certain artifacts for her. With that all said, let's jump in first here with, of course, the base materials you're going to need. Heading over to activities here, if you go over to just adventure, going over to the legacy game mode, you'll be able to get your void incandescent sheaths, which is what you're going to need to start off the leveling process for Maru. But this isn't actually what I would recommend you guys do. Instead, go over to your Iron Commander and just set up a team to go in and get this material for you passively. This is probably going to be the best usage of your time because the activity isn't really all that interesting. And if you can send a group of characters in to get it for you and get even more rewards than you would normally, that's going to be the best option there. Just make sure you pick the void version so you are getting as many void incandescent sheaths as humanly possible. Next up, we of course have the elemental fruit, which is mainly obtained via the realm of the 9, so make sure you're clearing out these as much as possible to be getting as many fruits as possible, so then you can just easily level up Maru when she comes out. Then finally, heading over to events, if you go over to your calamity responders, this is where you're going to be getting the most amount of incandescent clusters, which is what you'll be needing in order to max out Maru when she comes out. This is the material needed to just finish off the final upgrades on her abilities. I believe that you can also just purchase these from the different shops in the game as well, so if you have some spare currencies you can just spend those on these as well. That's pretty much it for materials, pretty self-explanatory, nothing too crazy. But now let's jump into her weapons, because this is where stuff gets really quite interesting. So Maru is going to be a character that is using quite a unique weapon loadout. She has both breech-loaded grenade launchers and heavy grenade launchers. Now, Wolf is currently the only character, I believe, in the game that can use heavy grenade launchers, and there's only really two that you can really farm out right now. The first is going to be the Sati Elixni Smart Bomb, which is probably going to be the exotic that most players are going to be using with Maru due to how easily it is obtainable, due to only having access to this via the main story quest, and you should have at least have a good amount of materials in order to near enough max this weapon out if you are a fan of it. So getting this weapon just via completing the story is going to be the best option here for Maru for free-to-play players. But if you want to use the new Season Pass exotic weapon, you could instead go with the mythic heavy grenade launcher here, the Hon 1 Kamano Kronk. I'm saying that completely wrong, but either way, this is the only mythic heavy grenade launcher that you can get right now, so I'd highly recommend farming out a decent roll of this. In terms of the roll, I would recommend definitely get auto-loading holster for the automatic reload after the weapon is holstered for 2.5 seconds. This is just an absolutely insane perk, so definitely the best one there for perk 1. Perk 2, you do have Unssured Yields, where final blows grant the next magazine plus 60% damage after reloading. If no final blows were made with the previous magazine, then reloading will grant plus 35% base damage on the number of hits landed. This is going to be okay, but paired with autoloading holster doesn't really function too well, so instead something like Splash Feast is going to be really good, where each direct hit from this weapon grants the next round 15% more blast damage and 10% more blast radius, which can stack up to 3 times. This is probably going to be the best one there, just for a free boost there to your blast radius and blast damage. Other than that, Black Body is also a decent one, where final blows grant plus 7% damage, which stacks up to 5 times, with all stacks being cleared only upon your death, meaning that this can be a very easily obtainable damage boost that doesn't really go away unless you end up dying. Other than that, there's nothing really else I'd recommend. Just make sure you have autoloading holster there in that first column if you are going for this grenade launcher. With the heavy grenade launchers out the way, let's now go over to the breech-loaded or the light grenade launchers. Now, Ikora is currently the only character that can use these, and there is only one mythic light grenade launcher in the game right now, that being the Present Fleet. Now this thing, probably Annihilation, is going to be very good, where this weapon deals increased damage based on how low the target's health is, up to 36%. Pairing that then with Polyploidy, probably saying that 100% wrong, where projectiles blast always deal plus 75% blast damage when one target is hit, and plus 35 blast damage when 2 or more targets are hit. This is just going to be a great combination of perks for just free damage whenever you're landing hits with the weapon, which you should be doing most of the time. Other than that, you do have Splash Feast here once again, but this other perk here is going to be much better in my opinion. Now, with the new season coming out, I'm hopefully expecting there to be some newer weapons added to the different activities, so maybe there'll be some new lightweight and heavy grenade launchers that we just don't know about yet. If there are, I'll probably update this video or just let you guys know if any of them are any good, but basically just keep an eye out for any new weapons or any of these currently available grenade launcher weapons if you are at all interested in pulling for Maru. Next, let's finally end off here with the artifacts, which if you don't know are obtained mainly from the Realm of the Nine activity, mainly here inside of Singularity Chaos, where you can just select what different artifacts you would want to get from your completions of this activity. Main thing here, make sure you pick the Void version since she's a Void tier character, and you're going to be getting some Void exotic artifacts, which is going to be very good. But in terms of what artifacts I would actually personally recommend, obviously for the right side here, the Planetismal set is just going to be very good. Casting signature abilities grants more damage, and casting abilities grants damage bonus. Just a free buff there whenever you use your abilities, which is going to be very good for literally every single character in the game. So if you want an all-around decent set, Planetismal is definitely going to be the way to go for the right side artifacts. Now for the left side artifacts, you can actually go ahead and use some of the spread weapon based artifacts due to her having access to grenade launchers, so you can recover total health when spread weapon shots defeat multiple combatants at once. This is going to be pretty decent because all your weapons will be able to deal with multiple targets at once, so getting some health back from that would be pretty decent. And alongside that, if you want to, you could also go with the other spread artifact here, which would be Unrelenting Shells, where reloading weapons grant even more damage resistance, which is going to be very good because of the fact that your lightweight grenade launcher only has one shot in a magazine. So you launch off your one shot, reload, get damage resistance. This is probably going to be the best option, I would say, for Maru, just in case you want to be getting some damage resistance whilst also pairing up some damage bonuses alongside that. Now, there should also be some spread artifacts here that I don't actually know what they do. So here we have Scattered Shell, where hitting multiple targets at once grants drawn spread weapons next projectile plus 21% blast damage and blast radius. So honestly, you could just run a full spread set of artifacts here if you wanted to, because it's honestly going to work out very well for you. Projectiles deal more blast damage and blast radius on direct hits. So honestly, just run a full set of spread stuff if you're really wanting to build into that idea. And so if you have all these artifacts, probably run with these because these are going to be absolutely insane. But if you don't and are just farming out these for the meantime, once again the Planetismal set is probably going to be the best there for you. But I would honestly just recommend a full 4-piece set of the spread stuff here: the Explosive Shell, the Scattering Shell, the Bloodthirsty Shell, and then also the Unrelenting Shell. All of this is going to be really good for Maru just generally, because once again, she's using double grenade launchers, so you're always going to be activating the buffs on these different artifacts here. With that said, that is pretty much everything for my prep guide for Maru. Obviously, take all the stuff with a grain of salt because we do not know what stuff is actually going to be launching with the new season just yet. So there might be some new artifacts, some new weapons that'll be coming in, that'll be toppling what we currently have available. But if you want to be prepared, obviously be getting yourself those different materials to level her up, and just be keeping an eye out on these different artifacts and making sure what stuff you actually have available or just want to farm in the meantime. With that said, though, that is everything for my prep guide for Maru. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I would very much appreciate it. And with that all said, I'll see you all in the next one.